I stand firmly in the fact that I'm one of the best to ever do this. For the culture, for my coast, and for my city. This is the best rapper in L.A.Podcast. And I am your host, Murs. What up, though?
Check. Get your feet wet. BRILA 50, we made it to 50. 5-0. Fuck 5-0, but not really. But yeah, because I guess it's 12 now. Fuck 12. Why is it 12? I have no idea. Some Atlanta shit, right? Yeah. Nah. I'm joking. Get your feet wet.
Get your feet wet. You have now entered into a dimension not just of sight and of sound, but of mind.
I always try to use that to check the mic. It's one of the best sounding acapella rap. Shout out to Nigga Fish from CVE. That was a song off the Project Blow compilation. We're just starting off with a random tangent. Because I'm coming to the realization that this is not a linear podcast. If you are listening to this with the idea that we're trying to get through this, we are, but we're not. We're just moving, you know? Sometimes it's north, sometimes it's south, sometimes it's east, sometimes it's west, sometimes we're going in circles. The way I talk, the way I think. So I think it's good. If you haven't figured that out yet, I'm just figuring it out. This is not a linear journey. Finishing is what keeps me moving forward, but finishing is not the goal. Ready for the tagline of the whole podcast? If that makes sense. Finishing is what keeps the journey moving forward, but finishing is not the goal. It's kind of like life. You know you're going to finish, you're going to die. You got to finish it, but death keeps you, I guess, moving forward, but death is not the goal. Unless you're our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And what a burden that was. All right, so now we've gone all the way around. I'm back from vacation. Sitting at the setup. Starting Monday, July 22nd, it seems I will be hosting a stream on Twitch for UMG. So my studio is set up to film and stream. Shout out to Logitech G. Once again, if you need any equipment, I think the code for me is Murs, but I'll work with it and it's in the link where the links are, so it supports the podcast. If you want to buy some Logitech or some equipment to stream or for your computer or for your audio for your studio, use Logitech G because they support this podcast and they'll be supporting the stream I'm doing on behalf of Universal Music Group. Every Monday is called Mondays, hosted by Murs. Mondays with the U, I believe. The channel is twitch.tv/3, the number point, and then the number 5, 3.5. But you'll check my socials and we'll put a link in this. Starting July 22nd, every Monday morning from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific Date Time. Why did it change from Standard Time? So, had an altercation in the community with an individual that was doing something that I didn't believe was right. And I tried to get some other individuals that are employed security guards to handle it, not the 5-0. Just like move them along, like you're making everybody uncomfortable with that shit. Somebody else in the community was there and told the person that was causing the thing something. And then this individual approached me the next day. Why are you calling the police? I said, it's not the police, motherfucker. I just asked somebody to get, because this is where my family and people in this community do business. What you were doing was not what this was it. And it turned into a whole altercation. And during the altercation, he was like, yeah, and I know you just got back from Africa with your family and blah, 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 and you rich and blah. I said, look, check this out.
Check this out.
Yeah, but we came to an understanding, but it made me very aware that people are watching. Social media watching, so listening, watching everything. And it's not, I feel like sometimes I'm not TMZ worthy, so why are motherfuckers, no one's documenting my shit. If you break into my house, you're not going to get shit. The most valuable thing in my house, if I'm not there, if we're on a quote-unquote vacation, is with me. So feel free. You're welcome to any of my material possessions, bro. Anything in my house at any time when I'm not there. If you need it, it's yours. I prefer you ask so I don't have to replace doors and locks and glass and shit. Same thing with my car. This is going to unfurl into something bigger. But go back to quote-unquote vacation. I talked to a friend while I was on vacation. And when you're traveling with 3 children, I'm usually traveling with 3 or more children, 3 to 4 children at any given time. It is not a vacation. It is a family trip. I couldn't get to it. It's like saying work. I kept saying it's still the same work because my main job is being a parent. And when I'm on vacation, as some like to call it, I haven't been on vacation since 2009. And that was one of 2 vacations I've taken in my life. I would even deem one a mental health break. Not a vacation, but I've been on 2 vacations in my life. And both of them, I think, were after the age of 30. And I don't think I will ever go on vacation. Maybe I'll go on vacation once my kids move. But as a parent, even when they're not on your lap, they're on your heart, as older women say, especially in the South and in the Western world, in the capitalist world. Older women or older people say that once they're not on your lap or in your house, they're on your checkbook or on your bank account. So the lightness and the levity you feel without children, if you plan on being a good parent, enjoy it. There's a different kind of, everything's a trade-off. There's a different kind of love and purpose you feel that's beautiful when you become a parent. But I don't think you'll ever have a vacation again. And some of you older parents out there, not older, but parents that are further, I'm older than a lot of parents with children older than me. But yeah, so the family trip was great, but we did also almost get robbed at gunpoint. We left Inglewood. So I want to put this out there for all of you people who are looking for Americans to rob or tourists to rob. Number one, I'm well aware that tourism is a major stimulus, fortunately, unfortunately, for a lot of economies, and Americans and Europeans drive a lot of that income, which I'm glad and sad about. But when you see the Black Americans, it's always offensive to me when other people of color treat me as a Black American as a European or a white American tourist. There's nothing more infuriating. That's why I don't go to certain places in the world anymore. Brazil is a must because my children that's literally their motherland. But I'm not one of those people. When we on the podcast we talked about touring, like when I'm in America and I know where the Black Americans are, even though the Black Americans don't tend to gravitate towards my music or my show, I want to go tap in because we are one. East Coast to West Coast, North to South. I don't care what anybody fucking says. Half, mixed, biracial, multiracial, gay, straight, transgender. If you can be seen as a non-white and non-Latino or even Afro-Latino, like just a non-white or non-white presenting person of African descent, I want to tap in with the community there if I can. See if I can add anything or learn anything for how you guys are surviving this fucking shit show we've been front row to for 500 years. But when I go to other places, like Jamaica, I'm not asking you to take me to the trenches because that's not us. That's different. And I want to respect them. I don't really appreciate that people, like, there's now South Central tours. I like it that it's a fortunate, unfortunate thing that you're stimulating the economy, but you come on a bus with somebody from the hood, I guess that's cool. But you just walking around like it's a fucking zoo? Nah. So I'm not going to do that when I go someplace else. I'm not going to do that unless I'm invited by someone. Just same thing with the res. Like, I'm not about to go to the res and pop up on my indigenous peoples, but if I get invited, I'm definitely going to take that invitation. So I wasn't in Brazil trying to go to the favelas. Like, I met people on the beach that rapped and they were from the favelas and that was super cool. And, and they're like, oh, you should check it out.
Uma ligação e meus contatos causaram seu fim. Tua mulher na minha DM, eu acho que ela quer o pretinho. Realizo tuas vontades, gênio tipo do Aladim. Esse nego virou cinzas, mágica, sem salabim. Puta que pariu, toda hora a mesma coisa. Já ia fazer diferente, então.
Unless you say, come meet me here and have dinner with my family, I'm not pulling up, bro. And saying, oh, I'm from the hood in L.A. It's different. Anyway, we pulled up to an adjacent space. But there were lots of European tourists there, right near where steps where Snoop and Pharrell shot Beautiful. And I'm with my children, my wife and one of her friends. And the dude rolled up on us on a motorcycle and pulled out a gun. Very similar to the gun that I've mentioned that was in my possession during some of these years of recording. If you're going to pull up on a Black American, my dude, use a knife. If you're in Brazil, use jujitsu. If you're in Asia, use something that is scary or foreign. Most Americans have seen a gun, but if you're a Black American from the inner city, bro, if you are expecting me to jump out of my skin or scream or flinch, you found the wrong one, but you got the right one. But the person we were with was handling it because it seemed to be he was rolling up on her, which was strange because she was a woman, number one, but she was also a local that was getting a lot of love in the neighborhood. So it was weird. At first I thought they were having an exchange about Oh, I know you don't. I know you. You know. Then I noticed that he like was lightly fondling a gun. Like he didn't have his finger on the trigger. It wasn't cocked. It wasn't like there wasn't one. And I could tell all that from how he was holding and you know, and how he pulled it out. And I was just like, man, before you cock this motherfucker, you're gonna go to cock this gun. I'm gonna kick the shit out of you, and you're not getting up without killing me first. But I'm with my children. But I'm just offended. Like, bro, like you could have just came up back to the anything I have is yours. Like I remember it was a big boy CeeLo interview, and dude was at the ATM, dude tried to rob him or something. He's like, here. Like I've talked my way out of, help people out when they try to rob me, but being fearful is not at gunpoint. Like I'm scared of pain, you know, like we talked about that. Knock on wood. That motherfucker would have jumped out with a knife. If we would have got me in a rear naked choke, an arm bar, anything like if he would have went into a capoeira move, I might have been like, "Ooh, shit, what the fuck is this?" Here. But mostly I just feel like, of course you want my phone. Like whatever this fucking capitalist, whatever the U.S. government and foreign powers have done to your local urban economy, I am sorry. And if I can help by giving you a phone, take it. All the tough guy shit, traumatizing my children when my wife is wearing a baby on, just that shit makes me mad. That's the insulting shit, bro. Who the fuck do you think I am, bro? I'll fucking kill you, man. You know, it happened to us when we went to Ethiopia. Like someone tried to snatch the camera off my ex-wife. I grabbed that motherfucker. We were on a Christian mission trip. I grabbed that motherfucker arm so quick and put it behind his back and was like, cuz I lost it. Like you snatched something off of a woman that's with me? Are you fucking out of your mind, bro? The fuck do you think this is, bro? Oh, man. And then the Christian white folks that are with us are like, what happened to Nick? What the fuck? And I'm like, cuz I fucking like that. I snapped. And now I have more children. I have children. So I don't snap because I don't want to scare my children and put them in a state of fear. But they're like, did he want to trade phones? But why did he have a gun? Like, and we don't do guns. My kids are vegan. They're not me. By the time I was my 6-year-old's age, I had guns and ammo stashed like Playboys in my backyard. Bro, like that's what I'm saying. Don't pull out a gun and expect me to fucking tears or anything. I feel sorry that you feel like you had to run up on people of color as a man of color and people of color with children. Like, what are you going through, man? I'm so sorry. But there's a better way to go about it, man. And I found myself, I went into a tailspin after that. I'm realizing now as I got home, I'm like, yo, later on, you know, we can't eat as a family at a restaurant without, we have a 16-month-old and his name is Go-Go. We call him Go-Go because that motherfucker, he is, what is it called? Unstoppable, like perpetual motion. He is, before he could crawl, he would just wanted to go. You had to hold him and move. You couldn't stay still. And that's kind of normal. So I thought he'd grow up and then he'd crawl. So we're staying at a restaurant. There's not a high chair built that can hold him. There's not a food or television. Nothing is more interesting than movement. So even in Brazil, I got to walk around. So once we got there to the restaurant after we were not robbed because he didn't get anything because the lady came out of the community. Motherfuckers like, are you crazy? There are kids here. Man, get the fuck out of here with that shit. And it was the women talking. I just stood there and all of the women just like, because I don't know how to talk down at that point. I am offended. My male ego is definitely damaged. My instinct is kill. I want to kill you. I still will try to kill that motherfucker if I see him. Yo. And so I'm walking around with Go-Go like we are, you know, moving. And I'm like, man, this is blocks away from where we were just almost robbed. I'm like, I'm going to see. And then I realized like, I'm looking for this motherfucker. And I'm like, I'm holding a child. Because we get into an area where motherfuckers are looking at me like, why are you walking around with a kid over here? And, you know, it's like really like certain streets as a tourist you go on, certain streets you don't. And I don't have that fear built into me. Because I always think like, why would you, not the Black American, like I'm the one, but I guess they look at me as food, which is so weird. Because when you've been the lower class, the predator, as some, you know, wealthy or middle class and up white Americans usually, or even any wealthy people in America feel like people who look like me are, especially I don't shave, I don't wear nice clothes. I've been like the quote unquote predator. You know, it's cool if motherfuckers don't see me as a threat when I go to a country that has a lot of people of color or a lot of poor people or whatever. But to see me as prey is infuriating. Not because I think that you think that I'm weak, but because you think that I don't identify with your struggle, because you think that I don't understand. I may not understand your level of poverty, but I understand your socioeconomic position. And I am not here to profit all. I'm not here for sex tourism. I'm literally like everybody on the beach. My mother-in-law doesn't like me because I'm going. If you are a person of color, you ask me to buy something, you're selling gum, I'm giving you 100. I'm trying to stimulate the economy, identify, understand, and help any way I can. So when you approach me as prey, so I had to stop myself. Like all this podcast, I've been walking through therapy of like unlearning. I'm like, I'm holding my son and in my back of my mind still that like ghetto shit. Like I wish a motherfucker would. Like I wish I would see this motherfucker right now. Cause he's going to have to explain to me why he thought it was okay to a gun? My wife and children, bro. That's why a lot of shit I can't get with, bro. Like I'm old school. Like I don't do kids and women, bro. I don't do that shit. I don't even like my big homie. I'm a citizen, but definitely like not the women and children. Not the women and children ever, and not the elders, bro. Come on. That's universal. I don't give a fuck where you're from. From fucking Eastern Europe to the Philippines, bro. Fuck that. Not the women and children. As you can see, I'm still mad and I'm processing. And I don't want that to be, I think there's enough propaganda and beautiful stories about Brazil. I'm not a tropical person. I'm not a vacation person, but I did have a great time because my kids and wife had a great time. Me, I want to sit at home and watch football. That part of me is very American. I drink craft beer, a half a can. That's about what I'm up to today. Speaking of which, the Vintage Japanese Motor Union, something like that, 611 Anderson Street, Eventbrite. Look up the tickets. August 3rd, I'm down there. Like people ask me, how long are you staying? When can you come back? I'm like, I don't know. Something's on August 3rd. So, yeah, it's the fucking year anniversary of the Best Rapper in L.A.Podcast. 7-11, 611 Anderson Street. Shout out to Arrow Lodge Brewing. They hit me up. They're going to donate some cans of beer that you can get. Yes, it's all ages. Just don't give your kid any fucking beer. It's like a gathering. It's like we're having a house party. It's not going to be that big. The room is very small. I just wanted to do something. My homeboy, Savant, has this space. He's been asking when we can work together on something. I thought this was a perfect opportunity. And it turns out I think it is. Tickets on Eventbrite. You're just paying to help us pay for the PA and hopefully spend on food and shit. We may have a little merch. I've had people reach out. Yes, the merch, I'll make it available, whatever's left. But mostly it's like my family and friends buying tickets, as it always is. And if you're not family or friends and you bought a ticket, you probably will be after this because it's going to be so small. You'll be sitting next to somebody I know, or we've seen each other, know each other, so I consider family, and you don't even know I consider you family. But I think there are a few tickets left. If $20 is too much and you really want to be there, fucking let me know. Just DM me. That's how I was going to start this podcast. So many people have made this, even indie rap now, about paper. And for me, it's always been about purpose. I feel compelled to do this. And by nature, I figure out a way to make a living doing it because that's what people from my that look like me and come from where I come from do. It's what my grandfather did. It's what my father did. It's what I do. So it became a hustle, but I'm hustling within my purpose. But I never put the hustle before my purpose. I'm mentoring little homies and young people, and music is to be heard, And I asked the young man, like, what do you want to do with this? What is the purpose of music? He's like, well, to make a living. To blah. I'm like, you said everything that's right. Those are all good things, but the first thing, this art is nothing if it can't be heard. First of all, music is to be heard. Everything else is after that. And my purpose has always been to be heard. And it wasn't even a purpose that I chose. I was forced into this position or strongly urged by things and events in my life. And I believe a higher power.
1, 2. She was only 15, in love with bad R&B. She had to have vision cause she saw the star in me. Encouraged me to write about the drama in my life. To most I seemed strange, like something wasn't right. I used to fall a victim to the lunchroom comedians. Something like an outcast, started smoking weed and then I sort of fell into my own. Kind of felt at home when behind the microphone. But on the bus ride home, that didn't mean a thing. Harassed by the thugs on the corners they would hang. I got banged on, I got beat down, carrying a golf club, walking up the street now. They respect me, they call me crazy, at least I'm not getting punked out on the daily. And when I look back, I wouldn't change a thing at all. Why you think I found this strength that I'm speaking to y'all? Your hopes and your dreams and your hate and your lies.
Everything is the song we were supposed to talk about today. She was only 15 in love with bad R&B. She had to have vision because she saw the star in me. Whenever I try to quote or reference a person or an event in my life that's authentic, I combine two or three people, usually. This one, definitely there was a girl in high school I had a crush on. And she kind of friend zoned me, but the kind of friend zoning where they like, you know, where you're left with a little idea that maybe it could get romantic. And that's, I guess, too, like, I know when you're pulling out, like, I've had guns pulled on me when people have they don't want to rob me. That's a little more scary. That's scary. Well, that was scary to me a lot more when I was younger. But this girl that I had a crush on finally agreed to ditch school with me, I was a fucking truant, rebel, fucking gutter punk, I don't know what to call it, bumperhead, crip adjacent. I was a renegade. There you go. I was a renegade.
Never been afraid to say what's on my mind at any given time of day, cause I'm a renegade.
So I would ditch school is nothing new, but when this, you know, to me, nice looking young lady agreed to ditch school, her, like, they were like from the pretty sector. That's what I was like. They're from like people who dressed up to go to school and popular. And, you know, they maybe not believed in academia, but they acted like it, or they had a lot more respect for it than I did. So when they chose to ditch school with me, it was a big deal. And to go to my house, like, that's how you get laid. I don't know if she had any intentions of that. I don't even know if I really would have followed through. I was so scared. I was 15, 16. But she agreed to ditch and come to the house and smoke weed. I'm like, oh, shit. Okay. Get on the bus. And these are, you know, like, chicks from, upper middle class, black L.A. on the bus with me.
On the bus, rolling to the crib, I would get dibs on the seat with my man OJ and rock beats from Lamert.
Headed to the crib. The other homie was going to come through because I had a homie that dated one of her homies. Double date during the day, school hours, no adult supervision, and some weed and hip hop. Wow. Took the bus, get off. Of all days, this is the thing, like, of all days, the guys, I wrote, my first song was called Red Dots, and because the episode of the podcast is not here, it's about some guys probably 5 to 6 years older than me. I met them at a nightclub where I shouldn't have been, but, you know, thanks to local promoters and whatever, and my mother letting me wall out. I was there and I was battling. That's what I did. I was, you know, processing my aggression. Because I knew that living in L.A., once again, fighting meant if you win, you lose. And if you lose, you lose. If you lose, you can kind of win. You take an ass whooping, but you might live. But if you win the fight, there's a high chance that somebody's going to come shoot you because they can't take the L. And now that people film ass whoopings, no one's with a gun, access to a gun, is taking L. No one's fighting anymore, which I witness now, like the gangster rap scene. I'm not as in tune with it as I once was, but it is now okay to just say, I don't fight. And I think it started with a very reputable or authentic individual by the name of Goldie Loke and G'd Up.
My life is a little nigga, growing up hard, feeling pain. Expressions of a killer, putting muscle in the game. No stacked up cheese, no food to eat. It's hard on them streets, walking with no feet. Police tripping every time I try to get my grind on. They don't want to see the young homie go to get his shine on. I'm young, papered up, my rap stacking up. Riding in brand new cars, getting my dick sucked.
That was my era. But when I heard that, I was like, whoa, because like you can look at him, no, he probably got hands, but he was like, you want to go toe-to-toe? Set my pistol down on the ground on the pound, nigga? Hell no.
You want to go toe-to-toe? Set my pistol down on the ground on the pound, nigga? Hell no.
I say gangsta love, cause it just lives in me. And when I've seen enough.
Even the people who can fight are not fighting anymore. I didn't want anything to do with that lifestyle, but I was like, oh my God. But it was the first time I had heard in a rap, like, probably like, you want to go toe-to-toe, set my pistol down on the ground, on the pound, nigga? Hell no. Stay gangsters up. We're going to get to that song when I get to do a song on cocaine. I don't think that's cocaine, but that's that style. That gangster L.A. funk, R&B. Whew, beautiful sound.
I'm tweaking into a whole new era. G-Funk, step to this, I dare ya. Funk on a whole new level.
The rhythm is the bass and the bass is the treble.
Chords, strings, we brings melody. G-Funk, where rhythm is life and life is rhythm.
If you know like I know, you don't wanna step to this. It's the G-Funk era, funked out with a gangster twist. If you smoke like I smoke, then you like every day. And if your ass is a buster,
But yeah, so I digress. The song Red Dots was about these guys, but these guys, this is another interaction with these individuals that made me write the song, but I battled them at a underground hip hop thing, and I was trying to process, through that, like I could still get my anger out. Like, I'm not a sports ball. I don't play sports ball anymore. I was too small for that shit, but I still had that aggression, and I couldn't fight anymore, or I could, but stakes were too high at that. So like battle rap.
See, I'm but one child from a broken home whose sole companion is a microphone. I roam the streets of L.A. alone, and the only beef I own is past conflictions through the transcriptions left on stone. Now let me tell you the occasion when I caught an abrasion with these 6 peculiar characters. See, it always happens when you least prefer. A test of your true skill occurs. See, I was sitting, maintaining my own realm as God tends to do. When I was approached by 3 times 2 idiots who called themselves the crew. They were joking and provoking me, not knowing soon that they would be choking on their own words. But with every decree, they labeled me a whack MC without the proper inquiry. And when they finally surrounded me, I felt nothing but negativity, so I reacted the only way known to me. Lyrically, I took them rhyme for rhyme, even 2 at a time, and even when I didn't rhyme, they displayed their own lack of ability and the other futility of battling me. So they were forced to break into their written routine descripts, and they still got ripped. And seeing I was still coming from the mind, and they had committed to ultimate cybercrime, I decided to chalk this one up as a win.
So we're at the club, smoking BDs, being 15, in LA, smoking dirt weed, outside, in the cypher, motherfuckers roll up. I'm like, okay, boom. And I cut their motherfucking throat out. Rah! Rap my ass off. These motherfuckers are 20-something years old. They pull up to my school. They find out what school I attend, bro. And maybe they're not 20, but they're older than me. They're out of the, I don't know if they graduate, but they're beyond the age of where they should be in high school they're not truant. They're just fucking off. Which I assume, I'm not judging them. I was at the age where I was just fucking off. They're not truant though. They're fucking off. Fucking off time, fucking around. They pull up on me outside of school. I don't know if they showed a pistol or what. I'm like, what are we doing, bro? Fuck you mean? How did this happen? I get on the bus, I get on the wrong bus, but I just go walk straight to the bus, hoping that they don't follow me on. And they didn't. I was with the homie, white American homie who had been trying to be kicking and be down, and he was shook as fuck. I was scared, but this type shit I deal with all the time. I grew up with this shit. All right, I'm getting bullied. These motherfuckers got the drop on me. All I could do is walk it off. I'm not going to stop and try to talk to her. There's too many of us to try to run it. And I could see how scared my homeboy was. We're not going to win this fight. I'm going to just try to walk. I'm not going to run. I'm going to walk it off. Walked onto the bus. They didn't want to get on the bus. It wasn't that serious. Well, I think it wasn't serious. It was serious enough for them to just come to my school, but same thing with the dude in Brazil. Like, it's serious enough for you to stop with the gun, but do you really want to risk killing an American tourist and children over a cell phone in the year 2024? And then LA County does a motherfucker because of politics, but our jails, as I hear, and I never want to find out, are still as fucking deplorable as they are, nothing compared to other countries that are considered emerging nations. So I was like, and if you kill an American, I can only assume that the government, because that's going to go flag on the U.S. travel website, like that's going to hurt a major pillar of income for your country and your community, or not your community, because of course it doesn't trickle down. That's why you're trying to rob us. But still, I'm assured in my criminal mind, like, you don't want that fade over this. The same thing with these dudes that are following me, like, y'all don't really want to kill me. Y'all want to scare me or beat me up, and I'm not equipped. I'm not going to take an ass whooping if I can avoid it, but y'all don't want to really kill me. Fast forward a couple months after that, they're in my neighborhood at my local liquor store when I'm getting off the bus with these two young ladies that want to party. Or not party, like you guys think. Remember, I don't know what partying means. I thought party, they want to hang out. A kickback. This is a kickback, fool. But these are young black women. Man, when I tell you, it was like 4 or 6 of them in a gold Regal. And they had this, I can still remember, like janky ass 22, like rifle pistol contraption. Someone of the homies had a gun called the Civil War rifle. They pulled out the Civil War jammy on us. On me and 2 women, bro. What in the fucking rap world? This is why when I watch this rap beef shit, it's so fucking ridiculous to me. Not the current one exempt, but even this, like, I don't understand, bro. Just go bang, bro. Why are we bringing, we had a musical altercation, bro. Or I guess this is why I say this one exempt, because I at least can appreciate it in this current state that no one seems to be being physical about this shit. And when people ask me why I'm scared, it's because I grew up with, like, when I know, like, Hip Hop DX try to ridicule me and other people in the comments will ridicule me. Motherfucker, you didn't live this shit. Like, I am 16 years old. This is a trauma for me. And I care deeply about all of these young black men in this rap game, no matter what style of rap or what level you made to, especially those that I have worked with and have had communication with. I worry about that shit because I've seen it on, there is no money involved. These men have now, this is the second interaction, have tried to kill me. These 17 to 23-year-old men, and I'm 15, 16, they have come after me twice with firearms because I one-upped them in an exchange of wits. And now I'm feeling a little cool for the first time. I might actually get laid. I'm walking up the street I walk up every day. By this time, I have dealt with the local knuckleheads and I don't have to carry a hatchet. I used to walk with a fucking hatchet in my hand or a golf club because I couldn't afford a gun, but I was not going to not walk the quickest way home. That's next to the record store and the liquor store. I'll be damned. I will fucking cleave your fucking forehead open before you fucking ever stop me from doing it. You're going to have to fight me or ridicule me every day, motherfucker, because it's not happening. I finally cleared that up. So now I've earned the right to walk up my block, the 6 blocks uphill. I've earned that right. And now these motherfuckers weren't even from our neighborhood. They do a liquor store run at the fucking perfect time for me to walk up the street they didn't know where I lived. I know that. I don't know how they found out what school I went to, but there's no way in hell they weren't, and they wouldn't be waiting for me in the middle of the day. This was just happenstance, or as the police once told me, when they pulled me over on Highland and hog-tied me in the middle of the fucking street. Now you have something to rap about.
Still in these streets where the PD make you lie down. Yup, in my town, right in the middle of Highland. Ghetto bird, guns drawn, 6 cars, sirens.
I would have not written my first song called Red Dots to a beat by Double K, which went around the world and got me into a lot of doors early on in my career in the early mid-90s. I would not have wrote the song had this not happened. They pulled a gun, so I'm like, we have to run. The girls run in front of me. We run in someone's backyard and hide. Because they're coming out of the liquor store when they see me. They go to the car and get the gun. I'm seeing all this in the hindsight. When they hop in the car, we run in somebody's backyard and boom, and we're hiding. When I tell you there's nothing, because I was just starting to feel my little cool guy, manly energy. There's nothing in the traditional sense of protector or provider, anything carnal, primally male, about cowering in a backyard, hiding from other men with 2 girls or one girl especially that you wish to maybe have intercourse or be romantic with one day. And now that I'm going over, this is the same girl that stood me up for prom. But I can see why. But what were my options? Even if I had the hatchet or the golf club at this point, there's no cell phones for me to call the homies. It was terrible. They couldn't find us. We hid. I don't know if they cried. I didn't cry, but it was close. And then we got out and we walked home. Crazy. Like, and the whole thing is too, like after you've been robbed, if anybody's ever been victimized or threatened, like, we're walking around like, oh shit, they could come back around. Are they still circling the block? Are they looking for us still? But we have no car. We have no cell phones. If we stand on the corner at a payphone, that's fine. We got to just walk home and hurry up. And then they call someone cooler that they knew, a guy with a car that came and picked them up, and that's the end of it for me. But I get to write a hell of a song about it.
1, 2. She was only 15 in love with bad R&B. She had to have vision cause she saw the star in me. Encouraged me to write about the drama in my life. To most I seemed strange, like something wasn't right. I used to fall a victim to the lunchroom comedians. Something like an outcast, started smoking weed and then I sort of fell into my own. Kind of felt at home when behind the microphone. But on the bus ride home, that didn't mean a thing. Harassed by the thugs on the corners they would hang. I got banged on, I got beat down, carrying the golf club, walking up the street now. They respect me, they call me crazy. At least I'm not getting punked out on the daily. And when I look back, I wouldn't change a thing at all. Why you think I found this strength that I'm speaking to y'all? Your hopes and your dreams and your hate and your lies.
She was part of the inspiration of, she was only 15 in love with bad R&B. Encouraged me to write because she saw the star in me. She may not have wanted to sleep with me, but she definitely saw my talent. She recognized my passion, and she encouraged it, along with a couple other women in my life that I was not romantic with at the time. And they knew, like, encouraged me to write about the drama in my life. Like, that was, she experienced that drama. She encouraged me to write the song like Red Dots. Encouraged me to write about the drama in life. To most, that seemed strange, like something wasn't right. I used to fall a victim to the lunchroom comedians, start something like an outcast, start smoking weed, and then that was it. My homie Eric, who lived next door to me, who passed away. A lot of drama with that, but he was, like we talked about on Empire, like that Southern Playalistic album helped me so much. It was so well written and so musically just out of this world. Rest in peace to Rico Wade. But it was still very hood. It was like the most adjacent. Like, I was somewhere between them and Souls of Mischief, and it really helped me bond with other young black people at the time that were kind of in the same space. Even if they weren't, like, either, I think both sides loved Outkast. Something like an Outkast. So Crumbling Herb has been always just like a spiritual hymn for me. Like, I'm just crumbling herb. Man. I'm just crumbling herb. One of the young men I mentor, like, talking about, like, he's like, I don't really, like, get off on smoking herb itself, but I was like, you just eat gummies, bro, because he's talking about smoking being bad. I was like, he's like, but it's something about ceremonial, about, like, breaking up the weed, rolling up the weed.
It gives me a deep meditation. Smoke it up, smoke it down. Smoke it up, smoke it down.
I remember that Crumbling Herb, like, when that song came out, like, that was like, I'm sure how some folks felt about Mary Jane. The theme, like, stoner music, like, Insane in the Membrane, I want to get high. Like, it's on a different vibration. It's not, no disrespect to B&M, but it's not, like, it's not as soulful. It's not as black American as I would want it to be, because, Muggs is white dude from New York, and, they're Cuban, but very, adjacent to black culture, but it wasn't the same as, like, that Southern funk. Like, no matter where you are, if you're a descendant of enslaved Africans, like, your home, as much as we can get back to home without going just vaguely saying the continent of Africa, is the South. And I think that's why people are like, why did the South have such a run? There's many reasons, but one of it is because no matter where you are, you got folks in the South. For the most part, most of us. And it just felt like home. And Crumbling Herb was like, I'm sure how motherfuckers felt about George Clinton and other motherfuckers that were talking about smoking weed.
I used to fall a victim to the lunchroom comedian, something like an outcast, started smoking weed and then I sort of fell into my own, kind of felt at home when behind the microphone, but on the bus ride home, that didn't mean a thing, harassed by the thugs on the corners they would hang.
Something like Outkast, started smoking weed and then I sort of fell into my own, kind of felt at home when behind the microphone, but on the bus ride home, that didn't mean a thing, harassed by the thugs on the corners they would hang. So I told that story. I got banged on, I got beat down. Carrying the golf club, walking up the street now, they respect me. They call me crazy. At least I'm not getting punked out on a daily. And when I look back, I wouldn't change a thing at all because it gave me something to rap about. Where do you think I found the strength? The strength that when I'm in the streets in Brazil with my children and I'm on vacation, that cost me a fuck ton of money. Like, that's my thing. Like, my nigga, like, if you knew how much I paid to get here, you asking for my phone, that's the least I could do for you, bro. Sure, take that shit. But what you're not gonna do, and what he did do, is get away with pulling a gun on me in front of my fucking family. But he got caught off guard too, because I think like he pulls that out on most people. It's a show for them. Whoa, what do you need? I was just like, motherfucker. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? But that's the existence also of a person of color. Like, I can raise my kids as much as I want in Inglewood, and they're going to have to see a gun at some point, I guess. You know? That we weren't out of line. Like, we were with other... Like, I thought, like, I see other white tourists or European tourists around, and I'm like, okay, we can be here, of course. Because this is a black neighborhood. Or bordering a black neighborhood. So I'm like, if anyone's out of place, you know, we went to a black acai place. We went up there so I could support the economy. Like, okay, we've been eating acai down in Copacabana. We've been in Leblon. We've been in at Rasta Beach. We've been, you know, which is a black-owned part of the beach. Definitely check out Rasta Beach. Rasta Beach is Hasta, as they say, because the R is a H. Check that out. But there are a lot of black-owned, like, little beach shops, or black-run and operated. This one is black-owned and operated. So we're supporting all those, but like, yo, like, I'm like, okay, let's go up. And like, we've been to the malls called Shopping Leblon, and we've been doing all these amazing, you know, touristy things, but I want us to stimulate the economy. So yeah, let's go eat at this black-owned acai spot and then shop at this place where there's black-owned designers and African designers. And bought my wife a nice outfit. And did we get the shoes? I don't know if we got the shoes, but you know, just fine, yeah. And then to come from trying to support to being, bro, you could have the phone. You didn't have to pull out a gun. Just say, look, I really need that. I'm that guy, bro. Go ahead. If it can help another person of color that's struggling. That's why I don't play this whole shit. Whether it's, yeah, I don't, and me even calling people out for going, but I'm rooting for everyone black at all times. Like I said, gay, straight, Republican, Democrat. Like, if I can avoid talking down on another black person in the media or publicly, I will. And if I can help another, even if I have to take an L, like me losing a cell phone is nothing compared to your life living in the favelas. I understand that. But what I don't understand is when you don't respect the game. So then all bets are off. Women and children, elders are no.
God is love and hating is Satan. Zen type patience got me sitting here waiting. On the day when it's okay to love, when black men won't pretend that they are thugs, when teachers and doctors are treated like celebrities, you can get a job even if you got a felony. Check out my melody, let's live in harmony, we in this together, no man has autonomy, no man is an island immune to the violence. This rat race is no place to raise a talent. What's wrong with smiling? What's wrong with peace? What's wrong with squashing beef before they label you deceased? Swallow your pride before you choke on your issues. I know you got family and folks that'll miss you, so don't misuse this gift you've been given. This life's but a dream, we are blessed to be living. Your hopes and your dreams and your hate and your lies.
If God is love, then hating is Satan. Zen type patience got me sitting here waiting on a day when it's okay to love, when black men won't pretend that they are thugs. That's where the golf club came from. These motherfucking half-ass Crips that were, it's hard, y'all. I know I say I'm a fake-ass Crip, but in a different way than these guys. These guys are actually like trying to claim a gang, but really don't want to be claiming a gang. They just have nothing better to do. And it's sad. Not because it's not all the way their fault at that age. Like, you're supposed to play for a football team, and if you're a regular, like, well, sometimes the saying is having the confidence of a mediocre white male. You can't even play football as a young or be a part of that. Like, young white people in middle America can play basketball, and it's not seen as, we got to master this so I can elevate my socioeconomic status. This is my key to surviving and my whole family getting out of a cycle of violence and poverty. This is how I legitimize my family's existence with this fucking ball. That's why we can't just play basketball. Not all of us are supposed to take it. It's just supposed to be where you can go and be a young man, be aggressive, be focused, learn teamwork and all kind of community building shit. Everybody from town comes to see you play on Thursday and Friday, and it's fucking back to work on Monday. And when you get out, you'll have a job at the factory or you can take over the family. That's family business. That's what it's supposed to fucking be. But these half-ass Crip motherfuckers that fucking with me, they don't feel comfortable because everybody in Black America that's playing a sport is dead-ass serious. And at a certain age, you realize, like, I'm not that serious about this shit. Fuck it. I'll just do some middle-of-the-road shit that provides the same feeling of community, aggression, competition, leveling up, leadership. All those things we're looking for, you can find in a gang. And you don't have to be at practice, or you don't have to have some weird old white man hitting you in the head with this whistle on your football helmet. And then when you knock that motherfucker out, you're expelled from school because you're not willing to swallow your pride because you know you're not going to be the NFL. At the same time, you're not about to let this if he can't get you to, if you're not going to NFL, why the fuck would you let somebody talk to you like that? I digress. So like, even these people that tried to bully me and push me to my limit, I still have a respect and understanding for. I tried to. And they didn't fuck with, I was a child, but they were children, like women and children, bro. Every day they would like, hey, what's up, cuz? Fuck you, nigga. And like, they might chase me a little bit, but they never put their hands on me. But I could just walk down another street. My grandparents live a few streets over. I could have just walked up their street because that would give me a house to run into when they fuck with me. I could have just walked up the main streets where there's no, you're not walking. Like, walking through a non-main street in L.A. is the problem because people were hanging out on the porch or in the front yard or in the garage or something. But I just fucking refused, bro. I'm tired after all day dealing with motherfuckers picking on me or just homework and shit at home. Fuck that, bro. I'm about to walk up this motherfucking street, man. And like, I was like, and I know y'all are not the ones. So like, if it was a real L, but that's the thing, is like all the real Crips, like the homie Kevin who lived right across the divider. And I always knew if I could make it to the other side of San Vicente with the homies, because that was my homies. I was a divider. Like, we didn't get along with them. But I'm like, man, y'all don't get along. The homies that live next door to me, I'm not claiming that gang. I'm just I want to go to school and be weird and do me. I want to ride rollerblades, my nigga. Like, I don't read comic books. You're fucking with my fucking, this is the Panama Canal, bro. Like, let's be neutral. Let me just pass through. And they couldn't. But so I wasn't willing to back down off of it. So I got a fucking hatchet. Well, I got a golf club, and when my homie was like, yo, what happens when you knock one of them out and then the other one takes the golf club? I was like, So then I found a hatchet. I don't know why my grandfather had a hatchet in his toolbox or something down here at the cleaners. I said, but if I hit a motherfucker in the face with this, is shock and awe, right? And at a young age, I understood that. I was like, yo, I could chop a motherfucker's arm off. And all this is also coming from, too, is when I was 13, 14, we first moved back to the neighborhood, my cousin, who I think is gay, is like just, has a lot of feminine energy. And we were filming something. He's asking me about the riots. We're walking through the alley, and some people from gang, some Crips, like, took his camera, and I'm just like, let him have it. Cause like my cousin, cause like, hey, cuz, just let him have it. I'm 13, 14, and these are big ass dudes. And my cousin is very, very gay to me. And this is another where I learning slowly about homosexuality, and that does not mean that you are a bitch. My cousin started throwing down with these Crips, like, Bob, no. He was like, fuck this, my footage, the film is everything. You know what I'm saying? For the sake of the film. He's rumbling, bloody lip, hits one of them. They had to snatch it from it. And all I could do was run to get help because they were so much bigger than me. And I was scared. And I was like, we don't do this, man. I'm always let people have shit. I can buy another one of those. That's not business. I'm not standing on material possessions. And that's the same thing. Like, but after I felt how I felt, like I let my cousin down, and I apologized to him years later, and he was like, man, you were so young. I don't fault you at all for that. You did what you're supposed to do. Try to go get help, because you weren't going to be able to help me win that fight. But that is shit that I didn't back down to anyone after that. You know, after that, as well, I was with someone that they tried to kill somebody I didn't even know, and I stood in front of the gun. Like, it just, you know, you go through shit, and you're like, you learn, like, either that's your place, or you don't feel right. So the next time life presents you with that option, you step into it. And from then on, for the most part, I stepped into it every time. I knew what I was willing to accept as a man and what I'm not, what I can live with and what I can't. And it was hard for a long time for me to live with that, what happened to my cousin. So back to these dudes on the cut, like, I got banged on, I got beat down, and I was like, I came back. I could take the beat down and say, okay, I'm gonna walk a new, you know, and those dudes never put hands on me. The funny thing is, lucky, when Kevin wasn't home, I thought I was safe on the other side. Those are the dudes that pressed me one day, and Lucky's dad saved me from getting stomped out. But still, I still walk that street. The next day I walked that street because we handled it. Like, I knocked one of them smooth out, and then he wrestled around the corner, and they all rat packed me, cracked my skull open with the little motorcycle helmet. I got up bleeding, got my homies, and we got down. We came to, because I'm not going to live in fear. So we got down, and we squashed it, because they didn't want to run it back, because my homies were a little more serious than they're like, oh, we didn't know you knew him. All right. And it's funny how the politics work. But these other dudes across the street, they didn't, like I said, they were the rivals, period. There was no, so it took, you know, I would just hold the golf club out. Like, I'm going to walk with this golf club. You see it, and I'm going to walk right past you. I'm not going to walk on your side of the street. I'm going to walk on my side of the street, but I'm going to walk on this street, and I will not be deterred at all. Then when my homie told me about the golf club, I got the hatchet, and I was like, yo, if one of you come over here, and I don't know what was going through. I think at some point they're like, yeah, they call me crazy. They're like, oh, that nigga crazy. Whatever it takes, bro. And also, like, selfishly, I want to also walk and not have to turn down the Redman album. I don't want to have to, like, you know, because when I go to a neighborhood I don't know, I keep the music low or one earphone off so I can hear people, you know? I hear, hey, where you from? Or motherfuckers running up behind me. I don't want to hear all that shit. I also, you know, you can watch the shadows on the ground. There's all little things I've learned in the urban environment. But this is my street. I just got off the bus, having to be on alert. This is my meditative stroll home. Fuck you. This is my peace, and I cannot live without it. And that street, like, I wrote a lot of songs. I made, like, that was it. I defended it, and now I'm on an album with Warner Brothers rapping about it. I digress. We might have to end it here, y'all, because I got to go pick up a dog. My brother's on vacation. I got to go pick up his dog, take him to the vet, and then drop him back off at his pet hotel. What world are we living? This is what we grew up dealing with. Me walking my brother to the bus stop with Snapple bottles because motherfuckers at the bus stop thought that they could bully, because my brother was big. They thought he was older than he was. And they may have thought he didn't have a big brother, but they found out. I will do anything for this man, and he will do anything for me. So I got to stop the podcast to go pick up the dog from his hotel. Swear to God, if you would have told us this shit, we would have never believed. From his hotel to check out, make sure his dew claw's healing correctly. Nothing urgent, but just to make sure, because he needs to be at peace while he's on vacation. And I will do that. So I bid you adieu. We didn't even get through a whole song. But it's not about finishing. It's 50 minutes that we get to kick it. And if you're on Patreon, look out for some pictures from the vacation. I'm gonna post some of that. I don't give that shit out to the Instagram for, like, numerous reasons, but yeah. Thought Fest, October 5th. 60s is such a kind person for giving a stage to my young MCs I mentor at Ground Waves. This is our third year of him graciously giving us a stage, not charging me anything, holding space for out-of-town artists to come through and perform on this platform that's created, the Happiness of Pursuit Fest. If I can, I'll add the lineup next week, but it's October 5th, so I'm going to be pushing it all the way up until the 5th. Please support. People always ask me when Pay Deuce is coming back. Never. But Thought Fest is here to stay, and I do my best to promote and support it. 60 East, founded by someone who I met through Pay Dues, and took the inspiration instead of complaining, created his own lane and his own platform. He's also an MC, so if you could check out 60 East, he has some dope music out, produced by Crisis.
60. Yo, I grew up in the inland, now I'm rocking out in Finland. Try to pigeonhole me, but the kid broke through the ceiling. Now I'm after millions in the game with my affiliates, and every other day you can see the kid killing it. Far from being local, now the kid is bi-coastal. Know the name around the way, you ain't gotta check the socials. This one's for the home team, gotta rep the section, dude. Now I add value to everything.
He has a song called, something I think it's about Paris, and I have a song about Paris, completely unrelated. But listen to them both. His is dropping later in July, so we'll play it here when it drops. And mine is with Mr. Lynn, who was actually supposed to produce Murs For President, because that was going to be the album I did for Def Jux, and it didn't work out. But me and Mr. Lynn have always worked together, have been friends since the moment we met, going on 20 plus years.
I was born in the Midtown Metro. My pops fighting with the Crips living next door. You still gangbanging? That's retro. But if you really down for it, then respect, bro. I skipped the second grade cause I was special. I went to Washington, not Wilshire Crest though. Selling candy for $1 life.
It's one of the last songs I recorded in this room, one of the last songs I recorded in my life, because I wanted to make sure that I got 2 jams in with Lynn. It's available at lifeindakota.bandcamp. His band's called Life in Dakota. It's him, 2 of his brothers, one on keys, one on guitar, him on the beats, me on the rhymes. There's going to be more. It's a superhero concept, loosely concept album. Shout out to Prince Paul. Yeah, the song's called Paris. I think it's dope. It's one of my favorite songs, and maybe we'll break it down next week. But yeah, if you want to support it, go listen to it. If you can find it on streaming, I think you got to type in Life in Dakota and Murs. It should pop up on streaming platforms. But if you want to support and actually buy some music, lifeindakota.bandcamp or something, however you fucking do Bandcamp, I don't know. Until next week. If nobody fucking told you today, I love you. And see y'all next week.
Thanks for listening to the Best Rapper in L.A. podcast. Make sure you subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure you never miss an episode by subscribing on Spotify, Apple, wherever it is. If you like the show, leave a review on Apple Music or Spotify. And to support the podcast directly, go to patreon.com/MURS316, Murs316. See y'all next week. Peace. Peace.